Okay, we're going to go ahead and set up your SketchUp drawing and layout for printing. Before I go any further, I want to make sure that this is set to an ISO mode so that when I save it to the server, it's easy for me to grade. So I'm going to do a little bit of a rotation. I'm going to click on the house that says ISO. I'm going to switch over to the hand tool and just make sure I have it centered on the screen and filling up most of the screen. Let me go ahead and save that, and I'll copy it later to the server. Okay, so to do this next step, I can either go to File, Send to Layout, or in Layout, I can actually use the Insert function. Let me show you how to use the Insert function in Layout. So I have a shortcut to Layout on my taskbar. I'm going to go ahead and launch Layout. And what you'll first be prompted to do is to select a paper size. You want to make sure that where it says Default Templates, that there is that plus symbol is clicked. Now I'm going to go to Paper. I'm going to click on another plus symbol next to Paper. And now I'm going to select Plain Paper. And I want to select Letter Landscape. And I'm going to select Open. Now if I go to File, Insert, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to where I saved my Formula One car, which for you will be somewhere on your H drive. So you're going to be looking for your Formula One car drawing of your car. This file will have been saved eventually as an assembly file. So I'm looking for my assembly SketchUp file. I'm going to go ahead and select Open. Now, what you don't want to do is move anything, resize anything just yet. And another thing to remember is this. You'll notice that there are a few things here that I can click on, but if I click off my drawing, everything gets grayed out. So if you ever notice that happens with some other tools, make sure that the drawing is selected. Just click on it once, and then you'll see that these functions become available. You want to make sure you're in the SketchUp model, and you can see here that you can collapse these different options in what's called the tray. So I'm going to make sure that the SketchUp model is expanded. I'm going to click on that little arrow. And once again, with my drawing selected, I'm going to make a few changes. First of all, I'm going to change this to ortho. And I'm going to click on this drop-down menu. And you want to scroll all the way up to the top. So I'm going to take this scroll bar, I'm going to push it all the way up. And you'll see that the first option is full size 1:1, so that we're looking at this actual size. Go ahead and click on that. I'm now going to change my standard view to front. Once again, don't worry about resizing anything yet, just leave things as they are. And last thing I'm going to do is under Styles, you're going to see this little house. There's an arrow. Click on that and click on Styles. This folder is called Default Styles. Let's open that up by double clicking on it. And I want you to scroll all the way down and look for wireframe. There it is. Okay, so you can see that your drawing has changed quite a bit here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just resize this large box so that the car fits nicely inside of it. Easiest thing to do here is just grab corners. So I'm going to start with this corner here. I'm just going to bring this in. You'll notice when I do this, the drawing does not change in size. I'm going to now click this corner. I'm going to move this out. I want to make sure I can see the entire car when I do this. Okay, this is perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this by clicking and dragging, and you'll notice I have the arrow tool as I do these steps. I'm going to click and drag. I'm just going to place it right here for now. This is good. Now let's keep a few things in mind. My front view is going to go here. My top view is going to go here. So you want to make sure that this is a little bit below center, so I have space for my top view. I'm going to click on this once, so it's selected. And on my keyboard, I'm going to hit Control-C. And then I'm going to hit Control-V. So basically I just did a copy and paste. You could also go to Edit, Copy, and then you can go to Edit, Paste if you wanted to. Now you can't really see anything yet, but when I click and drag this front view up, you'll notice there's a duplicate. So I'm going to click and drag up. Now this is something that's very important. You'll notice if I move to the left or if I move to the right, it's obviously not lined up. So as you drag up or down, you'll see that green axis appear. You can see it on the far right. So make sure you're moving this along the green axis. Go ahead and place the the front view here. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and save my work. So let me do a file, save as, and you're going to save this to the same folder that you have your SketchUp drawings in. So let's go ahead and change the file name. And as always, we start with our last name and period numbers. So I'm going to put Bolt and then my period number. I'm going to put 2 for second period, space, F1, space. I want you to type in the word layout, L-A-Y-O-U-T. So it's last name, period number, F1, layout. Go ahead and hit save. Okay, so all we need to do now is add some dimensions, put our name on our work, and then we can print. Now, I'm going to go ahead this time and use what's called the dimension style. You'll notice everything's grayed out, and the reason is because I haven't selected anything. So let me go ahead and select my front view, and let me go ahead and select the dimension tool. Okay, now once again, you can see that things are now highlighted. Okay, I can make some changes. Clicking on the car like I just did, I guess isn't necessarily important, but do make sure that you click on the dimension tool in order to see these options appear. You'll notice if I click on it, onto a different tool, okay, they're grayed out, but if I click specifically on the dimension tool, I now have options. So I'm going to change this under length to decimal. I'm going to change inches to millimeter, and under precision, change this to 1 millimeter. So looking at your working drawing, we're going to add the same dimensions. I'm going to zoom in here. Let me start with the overall length of my car. So dimensioning is a 3-step process. First, you're going to click where you want to start measuring from. So I'm going to click somewhere up here in this corner. I'm going to click once. You then want to tell it where you want to measure to. I'm going to zoom in here. This is the front of my car body. I'm going to zoom out. And then my third click is moving up. Oops, there we go. My third click is moving up away from the drawing. And that's where the dimension gets placed. So I'm going to click a third time here. So once again, you'll see there's a gap, and the dimension is away from the drawing. I'm now going to do the same thing for the height of my car. So I'm going to click anywhere along the bottom of my car. I'll click somewhere here towards the back, click once. Click the highest point, move away from the drawing. And this happens a lot. You'll notice there's no gap here. That's okay. There is a gap here. That's fine. Okay. And 2 more dimensions to go. These are very important. These are my axle locations. So I'm going to click anywhere in the back of my car. I'll click right here. I'm going to click in the center of the rear axle. And then I'm going to move down. Now these dimensions are going to look a little bit different in terms of placement, which is fine, than how we did them on your drawing. My front dimension, my front axle will be click in the back, click in the center of the front wheel. Once again, move down. Okay, never put a dimension on top of another dimension. So I'm going to put this one just below. I'm going to click a third time right here. Okay, very good. Now let me go to View, Zoom to Fit. I'm now going to click on the Text tool. I'm going to click somewhere down here in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to click once. I'm going to turn my caps lock key on. I'm going to type in my first and last name. I'm going to type in PD2. So I have Mark Bolt, period, 2. All right, very good. Let me go to View, Zoom to Fit. Let me go ahead and save my work again. And now we're going to go ahead and print. So I'm going to go to File, Print, and the printer you want to use is going to be the C125 HP 4100. And go ahead and hit Print. Okay, that is it. So at this point, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and close Layout. you want to go ahead and close SketchUp, and looking on your H drive, the two copies that I want you to save to the server, the two files I want you to save to the server, if you look under here where it says type, if I click on type, you'll notice you have a few layout and a lot of SketchUp files. There's always going to be a backup of your layout file, so we don't want the backup, we want the original layout file. So we're going to right click and copy this file to your Save Here shortcut. And then I'm going to take my SketchUp assembly file, right click, copy, and I'm going to also right click and paste that to my Save Here. Okay, so once again, the assembly file, which is a SketchUp file, and the layout file need to be copied to the server. You're done. You can now go ahead and turn in your working drawing, get your block, and start the construction process.